All right, so let me hang on a sec.
Okay.
All right, just a second.
Do you know anybody who has coronavirus?
No. Well, I mean, I think I'm at this point I might know someone who well, that's not exactly true. I know someone who knows someone who knows who knows someone who has the coronavirus.
Okay.
But so I'm like, I don't know, maybe 3 degrees of separation or something at this point.
Yeah.
But apparently at this point it's I'm trying to hang on, where in the world did I put this folder? I'm having a hard time right now. Oh, there it is. Uh Apparently we have the largest number of documented cases of any country. That could just be kind of like because we've really ramped up testing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, I know they were like saying it's been skyrocketing over the past few days, but it's probably just because like we haven't tested as much, right? Like the numbers are probably going a lot up a lot more because we have more tests now, right?
right, I mean it's not as if I mean with all the measures we've taken, I don't know that it would be accurate to say that, you know, that it's spreading like crazy, but we're just seeing the reality of what was going on, Um,
Right.
you know. So let's see. Go to here it was right here. Right. So among 9 orchids arranged in a line along a wall, 3 are white, 4 are lavender, and 2 are yellow. Okay. Now, I mean, one thing I would point out to you, Aaron, is I'm saying the word arrange over and over and over again. Arrange, right?
Right.
That it's an arrangement. Okay. And I have several things that are uh, repeated here, namely, they're like identical. I even use the word. I say it twice. Identical, identical, 3 times. Identical. Yes.
Hmm.
So I'm using the word arrange over and over again, and I'm using the word identical over and over and over again. Okay. So there were basically 4 counting paradigms that we dealt with. Uh, one was arrangements with repetition, arrangements without repetition, and selections with and without repetition. Okay, those were the 4 paradigms, right? So you basically have arrangements or selections. Remember, arrangements, you're keeping track of order. Selections, you don't care about order. And then you have with or without repetition. Those were the 4 counting paradigms that we dealt with, right?
Right.
So this problem falls into one of those 4 categories very clearly, and I'm trying to point out the key words that would indicate which one of those it is. Okay, the donut. I mean, just to kind of remind you, the donut problem was a selection with repetition. Okay,
Okay.
where you were selecting a group of donuts with repetition, right?
Right.
A collection of donuts with rep, so I could take several of one type, or or whatever it was. That was a selection with repetition. And if you'll recall, we actually reduced that problem. Even though you're right, even though it is a selection with repetition, we sort of reduced it to a binary 0-1 sequence arrangement. Do you remember that? So we reduced it to a problem of arrangements with repetition for a binary sequence, where the ones were like the dividers, remember?
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
ones were like the dividers for the different categories, and the zeros were the basically the donuts yeah,
Mm-hmm.
among those types. But that's kind of a different problem than this one right here. On the other hand, number 5, okay, uh, number 5, this sounds okay. So here I have basically 5 flavors, and I'm going to take 40 Skittles, right? Right?
Right.
So that seems like, you know, I have 5 types and I'm doing a selection. Yeah. I'm just choosing from those 5 types. And of course, I'm going to have to repeat flavors. Does that make I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have enough flavors to account for distinct flavors of Skittles since I want 40 of them. So this problem is also going to fall into one of those 4 categories. Yeah.
Right.
Is that
Okay.
cool? I mean, you can go look up the formulas and the sorts of things we were doing over there. But is that helpful?
Yeah. Um, on the Skittle one, when you're talking about setting aside one of each flavor, I already have an answer worked out. I'm not sure if it's the right answer, but I don't know how much you can tell me, but I just took my final answer and subtracted 5 off it. Is that the right way of thinking about that? Because there's 5 different possibilities to have like all red, all green, all yellow, right?
Um, but that's not what you want.
It's not.
We don't want to skip any flavors. It says that do not skip any flavors. So there are lots of selections. Like for instance, I could have all green and all yellow and none of the other colors, and that wouldn't be acceptable.
You could have all green and all yellow.
Yeah, like I could have 20 green and 20 yellow. Would that be an acceptable selection of Skittles in this case?
I think so.
No.
It wouldn't.
It says does not skip any flavors.
Oh, so you have to have at least 5, or at least like a red, a green, a yellow, and
Yes.
orange.
So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying in the hint is to just
Okay.
say, well, just make sure that you start with a red, a green, a yellow, I don't even know what the other, an orange and a purple, okay?
Okay.
And set those aside, and then you're guaranteed to have at least one of each flavor. Yeah.
Okay.
The other 35 Skittles, you're just gonna do whatever, right?
Right.
But you just have those other 5 kind of sitting there ready to go.
Okay. Gotcha. Um. Um.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not you can't just subtract 5. Subtracting 5 is only getting rid of like the situations where you have all of the one flavor, right?
Right.
There are lots of other situations that you would find unacceptable, like
Okay.
20 of red and 20 of yellow, for instance.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I thought you were just saying like you can't have all red or all yellow.
Oh,
That makes
no.
sense now. Okay. Um. And then I was looking through my notes, and um, there's a formula in here, and I think I understand it, but it's r plus n minus 1 factorial over r factorial times n minus 1 factorial.
Yeah, that's right.
Where where is that is that minus 1 in the plus r coming from in the numerator?
That was the formula for selections with repetition,
Okay.
where R was the number of things you were selecting. So R was like the number of donuts, and N was the number of types.
Right.
The reason you have the minus 1 is because remember, like what we did is we took N minus 1 ones in like a 0, 1 sequence, and R zeros, and we just arranged those ones and zeros. And the
Okay.
reason you only needed like n minus 1 ones is because it was kind of like slicing up the bread. I only need n minus 1 slices to tell me like n types.
Okay.
So like if I had 5 types, n equal to 5 types, I would only need 4 ones. Anything before the first one is of type 1. Anything between the second and or the first and the second would be of type 2, etc. Right? So it would be
Okay.
tell you where the 5 types were. I would only need 4 ones to tell me 5 types.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes
Does
sense.
that make sense? Right? That's kind of how we were talking about that. That's where the minus 1 comes from.
Okay.
So that formula was the one for selections with repetition. That was the donut formula.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Thank you very much.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Thank you for talking. See you.
Yep, yep. You can pop in if you have some other questions or whatever.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Hang on a sec here.